Okay, let's talk about some of the things that are universal to all of the blocks that we work on. First one is that I have done the same stitch around the outside of every one of the little gingerbread guys. It's called a back stitch. As far as what color to use for the back stitch, you have, if you got the thread kit, you have two different shades of gingerbread type colors. Just use the one that matches or the one that's contrasting. It doesn't matter. I just use those two going back and forth. So, all right, let's thread up some thread and I can show you how to do that back stitch in case that's not something that you're familiar with. Now, what I have here in front of me is a square of the gingerbread color that has not been appliqued down. Remember that if this is new to you as far as how to iron on, how to applique, refer to the videos that I've linked up down below. If you are a beginner, that doesn't mean you can't do it. That just means that I don't have beginner videos at the beginning of every set. So there will be a link down below for where you can click if you want to watch the very beginning steps of how to put together, how to start with wool applique. Okay, I have my needle threaded. It also talks about threading needles and tying knots in that one. And so we're going to pretend that these are hooked together, and I'm going to do the back stitch. Now, when you're doing the back stitch, you can go either direction. In this case, I'm going to go this way. But the back stitch doesn't start at the beginning. So even though the beginning is right here, let's zoom in a little bit. Even though the beginning is this corner right here, I'm going to start one stitch in. Now, I am on, in all cases, I'm on the black, not on the gingerbread. Let me show you. If you look closely at these, can you see how they are? They're always on the black, but right next to the wool that is, that we're wanting to highlight. So we'll come up there, and then remember that best practices are to keep your needle on top. So we're gonna go down, that's why it's called the back stitch. We go back to where we were, we come up. See how our stitch is in the middle, so we're gonna come up 2 stitches worth in front. Then we'll go back down where that one came out, and come up another stitch in front. Back down where that came out, and another stitch in front. So this is the back stitch, and you'll just do that all the way around all of your gingerbread, okay? And you'll do that in whatever color happens to be the matching one. All right, I'm gonna snip that off, and let's talk about how to put faces on our gingerbread men. Okay, in your kit, and if you have misplaced it, it's slipped out because it's a smaller piece, like me, who can't find mine right now. There it is. You should have one of these. It's done in, I have printed it in vellum so that you can kind of see through to see where the edges of the gingerbread are so that you can mark them easier. I like it on vellum like that, but you don't have to have it on vellum. You can do it any way you'd like, and you can just hand stitch them or hand draw them on. But this is what I use to mark them. So what I did for the faces, I marked right down through the eyeballs. This is a water-soluble pen. And then for the nose, I marked the 2 edges of the nose. For the mouth, I marked the top 2, and then I marked right in the middle of the bottom. Okay, and then I could reuse that on different ones. Can you see my little dots there? Okay, now let's put together this little gingerbread man's face. Okay, so let's do his nose first. So using the same thread that you used to do the back stitches, we're gonna make his nose first. Remember that what we marked was the 2 edges of his nose. So we're gonna start, or I might use the lighter color thread on this for all of them. There's my 2 nose dots, right there, right there. So we'll come out on one of them. We're just gonna do a satin stitch, which means we're gonna go back down and come out very close to where the last stitch was. Sometimes this is called, if you're doing them all right on top of each other, sometimes it's called a granito stitch, because it ends up making just a little nose. They're right there on top of each other, and you pull the tension on them about the same on each one. And for these noses, if it was a regular sized gingerbread, I did 3 stitches. If it was a small gingerbread, I just did 2 stitches. But if you come in and go down at the same spot, you'll end up with that tiny little satin stitch or granito stitch nose. Okay, now let's do his eyes. We'll need a different thread this time. I couldn't find a black, so I have a dark gray for mine right now. And I am using a bullion knot needle. Bullion knot needles are wonderful because they are thinner at the eye than they are in the shaft. If not, use a milliner's needle. That's the closest thing you can get to it. Okay, so the eyes, just a French knot. I probably would go ahead and do 3 wraps because you'll be using a size 8 thread. The one I could find near my recording studio was a size 5 thread, and so I only did 2 wraps, but you're gonna wanna do 3. Now for the little gingerbread guys, do 2 for them so that their eyes don't overpower the space that's there. In the event that you have lost, I started to mention that, in the event that you have lost this guy right here, there's a link down below for where you can print more of them. This one is for the train. You'll need a piece that big for the train. This is arms and legs. This one fits on the mixer guy. His face is just a little bit smaller to fit in the shape, and this is for the little people. And these are arms and legs that work on the little people. They're here and there. Okay, for the smile, I just did a fly stitch, so that's why I only marked those 3 spots. And I'm going to go down over here, and I'm going to come back up in the middle, right where that middle spot is, and I'm going to make sure that my thread is underneath, and then I'm going to pull it. Now, I don't want this to be a big V, so I'm going to leave it a little bit loose so that as I pull it, it will relax just a little, and if it's not pulled tight, it'll make it look more like a smile. And then go down just barely. Fly stitches, remember, usually have longer tails, but they don't need to have a long tail, and there is your smile. So those are the stitches that we do on all of them, and I want to show you what to do for the little zigzag lines also before we're done here. Now the zigzag lines are not next, they are last, and the reason they're last is because they're white, and we would like them to stay white. So let's thread up some white thread. See if I've got the right size needles here. And to begin with, on the first few, I marked where these were supposed to be using this. And then once I had a few done, I was like, okay, I got the hang of this. And I would just do it without marking them. Okay, now I think that the most successful way to do this is to couch it down. So that means you need to use a thin white. This is the, I'm using the wool and acrylic thread that we did the appliquing in place, but a regular sewing thread would work, as would a embroidery floss would work. I think that your size 8 pearl cotton is too fat for it. If I was doing the zigzags, that's the reason that you have the different sizes of white in your kit. So this one right here is a cotton thread, and it's the one that I would use to do the tacking it down. If I'm doing a big gingerbread, I'm going to use the size 5 for his zigzags. If I'm using a small gingerbread, I'm going to use the size 8. Okay, so let's mark where the zigzags go for this guy. Once you have his nose and face in place, it's a little bit easier to mark, but we're going to go right here. You can also, if you don't want to pierce this with your pen to begin with, you can poke a hole with a needle. Okay, we are going to start, looks like right here. Now, none of them went off the edge in real life, so if they went off the edge, I'm not going to do anything. And then I'm just going to lay that one down. Lay that one and its needle down. And this next one, I'm going to come up where the next hole is. So right there is where I want it to go. Right where my next mark is. And then I'm going to wrap the thread around it and go right back down right where I came out. Now, best practices are that I will then come up at the next hole, which is right over here. Then pull that and we'll be couching that down. Now take this one over and we'll go down right next to that one and come out at the next marked spot. Bring it over here, go down on the, just make sure each time you're on the other side of it, whether it's inside or outside, make sure that when you're gonna lay that down, that you're actually gonna catch it. Catch it to couch it in place. You can also pull on this end a little bit to straighten them a little bit more. Oh, go down right where you came out, bounce up to the next spot. Go down on the other side. And bounce up to the next spot. Okay, so that is how I couch those in place. And I did not do that till the end because I wanted them to stay clean. And also, if you're going to do the little baked edges, we'll add that video. If you're going to do the little baked edges, follow the instructions carefully about when to do the baked edges. I found it easiest to make sure that I had everything to this stage, and then you can do the fun stuff after that. But it will tell you when is the step that you need to stop to do where to fit these in, so that you can make sure that you have done your burnt edges first, and then you won't get a whole lot of black. Then you won't get a whole lot of brown rubbed off on them. Okay,